Well, hello and welcome back to the channel. It's the new year 2023 and this is my first video this year. I've got to apologise for taking some time to get back to you guys. Let me explain why. In September I went on a trip to Iceland, but the week before I lost my dog Ozzy, which was quite an ordeal, and I probably really, if I'm honest, haven't quite got over that yet. And then in the beginning of January I lost my stepfather, and we're in the processes of sorting out his estate and everything else. So as you can appreciate, there's been very few reasons to go out and take pictures. In fact, the camera really hasn't been anywhere. I did put an Iceland video together, but it was non-narrated. There was only just B-roll and photographs. And I think I actually put a video out in late November, which was about a walk round Scotney Castle here in Kent on a very rainy and wet day. And again, it didn't have any audio content other than just music, and it was just a compilation of images and video from that particular outing. I didn't really feel like doing any pieces to camera, so it just simply didn't happen. I'm now getting to the point where I'm thinking of picking the camera up again, so I thought I'd give you guys a channel update. What I'm doing very soon is I'm going to be going to Harris and Lewis for a week. That's the second week in February. And I'm also going to Skye immediately the week after, so a pretty large round trip for 2 weeks of the West Coast and the islands, which I'm really looking forward to. I'm going with a guy called Marcus McAdam, who is one of the presenters on online photography or photography online. So that will all be very interesting. I'm in the processes of changing quite a lot of my camera gear. I did make a mistake when Sony announced the A7R5, which is this camera. Initially I thought it's the same sensor. It doesn't do much more than the camera I've already got, which was an A7R5 Mark A, and I dismissed it and didn't order one. But subsequently I thought, hang on, there's a lot of reviews saying this is really quite a really good camera. So I did take the plunge and I bought one of these, and I traded my equipment, or at least my camera body, back to MPB and bought this from Park Cameras about 6 weeks ago. And I made a mistake. What the mistake was that I misjudged just how good this camera is compared to what I had. Yes, the sensor's basically the same sensor, but there's so much more than just the sensor in this, and that's the new puppy in the corner who's playing with my other dog at the moment. So if there's any interference, that's him. So I now have a 17-week-old German Shorthaired pointer called Wally, and he's currently grizzling at Pippin. And I'd rather he didn't do that because it's interfering with my video. Be quiet, you two. Anyway, back to the camera. What I've done is I bought this camera and I'm blown away by it. I already had a good camera. This is so much more. In particular, the automatic focus tracking is incredible, absolutely incredible. I can track a dog running at full speed and it locks onto the eye and stays locked on. Amazing. Leave alone the fact it's got 8 stops of dynamic range, which means I can hand hold a wide to medium lens, so not really much above 100 millimeters. Well, yes, as I was saying before I got puppy interruptions there, as I really do and must say I've been blown away by this, if for no other reason, and there are a lot of reasons, but if for no other reason than this fully articulated screen. Sony engineers have done the impossible and improved on everyone else's designs by making a screen which is articulatable, if that's the right term, in every direction possible, which might look a bit extreme, but you can have the lens against, or at least the screen up against the back of the camera. You can forward face it, something I do when I'm vlogging sometimes. I can swing it out, I can hold the camera vertically, and I can do pretty much any articulation I might want, which is, this in particular is really useful because I often don't want to kneel too close to the ground either because it's wet or something, or it's just not particularly good for my rather poor knee, but I can hold the camera down and look straight onto this rear view monitor and take the shot I wouldn't otherwise be able to do without using the remote feature on my iPhone back connecting to the camera, which means then holding two things at the same time, which is less convenient. Also, it has a new mode dial, which is this little button at the front. So you've got the standard dial on top, and then I can switch it between video photo mode and special sequence video mode, just for the sake of moving that, which is particularly nice. But also it's got the A1's viewfinder, and many have said that this camera actually is a better camera than the A1, and having had one, I would say it is. Certainly if you bear in mind this is £2,500 less to buy it. I'm not a sports photographer. I don't need a camera that actually can shoot at 30 or 40 frames a second. Landscape doesn't move that fast. So this at 20 frames a second it's absolutely ideal. I can't fault it. And as you guys who watch the channel will know, I've had quite a few cameras over the last couple of years, including GFX 100Ss, and I still come back to Sony's, which has cost a bit of money, I must admit, switching camera systems a couple of times. But anyway, I've got at the moment a 12 to 24G lens on here. I've got arriving in the next few days a 24 to 70 Sony G Master Mark II lens, and I've also got a 70 to 200 2.8 G Master II lens coming, and as well as that a 200 to 600 G lens. Therefore I've now got a full complement of pretty much any lens you could want from Sony. I don't do portraits very often, so I don't need primes. I've also got a 2x converter coming, which gives me the ability to switch both of the telephotos from 70 to 200 to 140 to 400, or the other lens, the 200 to 600 to 400 to 1200. I think I probably covered most of it there with that. So that's pretty much what's happening. And those are all going with me up to the Outer Hebrides on the 3rd of February. I'm driving up to Ullapool, catch the ferry across on the 4th, on the morning of the Saturday the 4th. And that's going to be really exciting, and I'm hoping to come away with some really nice images from that whole event, and I'll obviously produce several vlogs while I'm up there as well of my activities. So that's pretty much an update. I hope you guys hang around, and please put some comments in the section below. I have been having sort of second thoughts about running this channel, I must admit, certainly with relation to the circumstances I've had over the last year. So it would be good if we got some feedback as well to say do carry on, or say don't if you don't like it. I've got 1,020 followers. It's stagnated a bit because I haven't been producing videos, but it's all down to you guys. Give me some feedback, and particularly if there's certain things you want me to do, and especially if they're in Kent, therefore I can just go out and do them on a day trip, round trip. Then let me know. I'm quite happy to go and visit a historic location or something, whatever you want. But anyway, that's the update. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned.